Hey, did you miss me? I know it's been a long time since we last spoke, and I honestly wasn't all that sure I'd start up another season of the podcast all by myself. But here we are, and a lot has changed in my life. I'd like to make some big changes with the show this season, so stick around and let's talk about it. Hey, it's Joe, and welcome back to Season 5 of Wilson the VW Bus, the podcast about the adventures in my 1967 VW split-window, walk-through, homebrew, tin-top camper bus named Wilson. Hopefully you are not just joining me for the first time, because if so, then you've missed out on all of my escapades with my VW bus named Wilson that started back in May of 2021. Now, when we last spoke at the end of Season 4, I had just barely survived my first big breakdown when my oil line let go on the way home from the Flanders VW camping weekend. That was terrifying for me, but even though I survived the ordeal and was able to make all the repairs to the oil line, the exhaust, and a few other components without any damage, I hadn't really had a lot of time to do much else with Wilson at the end of the season. I wrapped up the 2024 year with a nice holiday party with the Central Jersey VW crew, and then I put Wilson back in the garage for a long, cold winter. And it was a cold one, for sure, here in the northeastern part of the U.S. I unfortunately got pretty sick and even had to visit the hospital, but I eventually made a decent recovery, and I struggled with a breathing issue for a few months, so recording a podcast really was not an option for me physically, and I'm sorry about that, everyone. But back together now, and as I have mentioned in the previous episodes, my full-time career as a chief technology officer doesn't really provide for a lot of free time or time for any extracurricular activities like Wilson Adventures. The winter of 2025 was not much of a break there, with plenty of work issues and business trips, late nights, tech problems. So, after 12,174 blissful days of employment with the same organization, I decided to hang it up and retire and start over again. I was able to wrap up the school year and get my team off and all set with a new replacement boss, and they even threw me a nice retirement party. I will miss my crew, and this retirement is going to take some getting used to. That brings us to today, July 1st, 2025, and my first day of my new life. Admittedly, I slept in an extra hour this morning, which for me was still 6:30 a.m., but then I got busy shredding on my old work shirts into little pieces and deleting the digital links to my work past. Then I went out to the garage and did a quick oil change on my 1942 Harley-Davidson WLA motorcycle. I actually just listed the bike for sale, as I haven't really had a lot of time to ride it, and the people around here where I live are the absolute worst drivers. And every time I take out the bike for a ride, I take my life in my hands, and I think it's just time to let it go. I mean, I almost got T-boned just a few weeks ago when someone ran the intersection right by my house, so the bike I will miss. It is a former World War II service bike that was converted into what's commonly referred to as a bobber now. But it's a blast to ride, and since it has a foot clutch and a tank shifter and it's 83 years old, the pool of potential buyers is probably not the biggest. We'll see what happens. If you or anyone else you might know is interested, search for the words WLA on Facebook Marketplace. I'm sure you'll find it there. So, now that I am unemployed, I think I should spend some more time not only enjoying Wilson, but also upgrading the podcast. I'd really like to do more interviews and get some guests on the show. That's where you come in. What do you think? Are you interested in being on the podcast? Do you have some stories to tell with me? Drop me a comment on any of the social media accounts or podcast streams. Maybe we can work it out. It can all be done remotely. Nobody needs to travel to get on the show. Come on, what do you got to lose? Anyway, I'll catch you all next time. I've got a couple things to fill you in on my new spice rack and the progress of Connor and I are making on the 62 VW Bug. Talk to you then.